Assalamu alaikum, Priya Darshak. You're watching Business Talk, and my name is Sufi. As usual, I'm always trying to bring successful people in our community, successful businessmen with notun ব্যবসা লইয়া. I like to introduce these kind of business people in my show. Tonight I have a business person who's also involved in newspaper, print media, and the print media taki in a wedding service. So আজকে আমরা টপিকটা is the ব্যবসা আমরা business করা মাত্র আজকে wedding এর সম্বন্ধে মাত্রাম. আপনারা কোনো question থাকে, anything you like to know about if you are getting married, and if you want to talk about your wedding, or if you want any kind of questions, I have a perfect person who's in my show tonight. আপনারা আশা করি ভালো ভাইবা show আপনারা লগে থাকবা আর কোনো মতামত থাকলে please you can ask your question. My guest is from Ariana Banquet Hall, Managing Director, Tufail Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum Tufail bhai. Welcome to Business Talk.
Hello, Assalam. Thank you very much for having me.
Tufail bhai, it was nice talking to you before the show. I got to know you a little bit more about you, which I didn't know you. And it was always nice if you don't know someone and you're interviewing on the live TV, and it's amazing. And that's the good thing about my show. And Tufail bhai, I'm always trying to bring people into the show, their new faces, even though I've been trying to get you into my show for many months, and you've been so busy. Alhamdulillah, you have lots of business, and we have 1.5 hours to talk about your business. And this business show is about how you become success. We want to share that to our community so they can learn from that. We can learn from them as well if they got any valid, to share with us. So let's talk about from you as you are print media you used to own, and obviously print media own some behind the scene kham khoron. Like me, I own a TV. People can see me on the TV now and become a fame from that. Let's talk about you about yourself. How you got involved in the Easternized newspaper? Because I used to read that quite a long time ago.
Good.
So can you tell me a little bit about that and about yourself?
Sure. We still own newspapers and magazines. We're still in the print media business. It all started back in 1975, 76, when my father, the late Dr. Mohammed Bashir Ahmed, started off the Shurma newspaper. Shurma Bangla Patrika.
Of course. It still existed.
It still exists. My family still running. My younger brother Saz, he still runs Shurma, and it's still available. So, এটা আবসলের আমরা কিন্তু উদ্দেশ্য জন্ম হইছে জন্ম হইছে ইয়র্কশার আমরা ভাই বোনতর তো আমরা বাংলা জানি না হিলাজালা আমরা জানার কথা অবভিয়াসলি তো মেসাবে পড়াইছেন ও শেষ আমরার তো আমরা কি তা করছি সুরমার
ইয়র্কশার থেকে সুরমা মানে আপনারা শুরু করছেন
না সরি আমরা জন্ম হইছে ইয়র্কশার বাট আমরা লন্ডন আইসাম 71 72 তো আবার সুরমা আরম্ভ করতা জাস্ট আপ দ্য রোড লাইম হাউস থাকি just আপনারা স্টুডিওর অফিসে আর not very far at all. So আমরা যেহেতু বাংলা জানি না আমরা ইনসাইড ফাতা সাইটটা আমরা ইংলিশ করলিছিলাম জাস্ট বাংলা নিউজ রে লোকাল নিউজ রে তোরা ইংলিশ
আব্বা বাদেনি না আপনারা
না আব্বা বাদে যায় আব্বা মারা গেছলা 85 তাই লন্ডন হসপিটাল মারা গেছলা তো আমরা সুরমা চালাইছি কন্টিনিউ চালাইছি আমরা আব্বা মারা যাওয়ার পর থাকি তো যেহেতু আমরা বাংলা জানি না আমরা সাইটটা বাংলা পেজে পড়াইয়া আমরা ইংলিশ ফাতা খুলিলাম আর ওগো টাইটেল দিছিলাম Eastern Eye. That took off so well. Within about 4 months, Shurma sale almost double হয়ে গেছে ডাবল হওয়ার বার্তা কি আমরা মনে করলাম যে নিগুরে এখন সেপারেটলি আনটিটি করা লাগবে
মানে how many paper do you used to print
আগে তখন তিনটা পেপার আছিল কমিউনিটি ছোট আছিল কিন্তু ছোট হইলেও কিন্তু আপনারা লাখান টিভি চ্যানেল আছিল না অবভিয়াসলি এরপরে খুব একটা কমিউনিটি বড় আছিল না বাট তখন আছিল জনমত আছিল
that's one of the oldest
one সংগ্রাম আগে বার হইছিল শুরুমা অবশ্যই আছিল এরপরে আরেকটা আছিল জাগরণ এরপরে জাগরণ বাদে এরপরে নতুন দিন ইত্যাদি এরপরে তো পত্রিকা এখন তো আলহামদুলিল্লাহ আমরা পত্রিকার কোনো অভাব নাই আর মোটামুটি সব কম বেশ চলে বাট প্রিন্ট মিডিয়া বর্তমানে আস্তে দুনিয়ার জেলা ডিক্লাইন হয়েছে বিকজ অনলাইন আইছে সুরমার ও সেম সিচুয়েশন বাট আছে প্রিন্টেড ভার্জন আছে এরপরে অনলাইন ভার্জন আছে আজ তো সুরমাত আসিল ইস্তানাই 4 পেজেস এগুলো যেহেতু পপুলার হয়েগুলো এগুলো বার করি আমরা একটা সেপারেট নিউজ পেপার রাখলাম ইন ইটস ওন রাইট we just call it simply Eastern Eye. It was based very similar to the Mirror, but the Asian version.
I actually read that. I'll tell you in a minute about how I got involved in the Eastern Eyes. Let's take a call from Sister Nuri. Assalamu alaikum, sister.
How was some?
Wa alaikum salam. If I could have question us any.
No, just wanted to say that here he has two banqueting. One is Arena Banqueting, and one is Arena Gardens. I was wondering if he's going to do another business from that again.
Another banquet hall. We'll find out from you in a minute. Yeah. Thank you very much for your questions. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Sister want to know if you're going to open another one, because you already got two.
Great.
We'll come to that one in a minute.
Great question, yeah.
It's a very nice question.
Absolutely.
So the Easter nights, basically, how I got involved in the Easter nights, we used to play football, Sunday League.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Asian League.
The Asian League,
Asian
that's right,
League.
yeah.
And we used to go and buy paper, we used to come to Bengali shop, especially on that time. And then you could get from Indian shop, local Indian.
That's right, the video shops. And
and I remember I used to do paper round, so I used to go and open it and read everything.
Yeah.
So especially the back pages, because it was all about the football.
That's right, the sports, cricket and football.
You know what, I never knew it's actually, I'm actually, owns the TV, but I'm not actually a media person. I'm a businessman. I invest in money to help the community, and that, I never knew it's owned by the Bangladeshi people, Eastern Eyes. I actually knew today, so it was, it was nice to know. So is this still existed, Eastern Eyes paper?
Yeah, Eastern Eye, what we did, at its peak, we decided to move on into the next phase of the publishing world, and we went into magazines. We went into publishing Asian Woman magazine, Asian Bride, Asian Express, and then now Asiana. So we did actually sell the titles of Eastern Eye to the Mirror Group. So, what we based our entire policy on, we actually ended up selling it to them. So now it is still around, not in the print form. It's actually gone online. It's online, yeah.
So the Shurma newspaper, this is still running. So who actually looks after Shurma paper?
Yeah, Shurma, my younger brother, my next brother, Saz, he runs it. He runs it very well. You just said
before, there have not Bangladesh experience about how do you communicate with who looks after day to day?
It's no problem. Even though we don't know Bengali, we don't know Chinese, we don't know Russian or whatever, we can still publish whatever magazine we want. I mean, Rupert Murdoch, Robert Maxwell, he couldn't write Chinese or Japanese, but he's got publications. Probably can't read English, but he's still got publications in other languages. So it's not just a matter of you being a good journalist necessarily, because back in Bangladesh, if you're the editor, you tend to be the owner as well. Whereas in the West, there would be a publishing house, and they would hire editors and everything. There'll be independent people. So we have a big staff. We have 4 or 5 people working full time at Shurma, who do the editing.
It's not free paper, it's the paper you sell, or it's a free paper?
No, Shurma is still
selling.
You have to buy in the shops. There are a few newspapers still in the Bengali communities, and Kinalage.
I think one of them Janamot as well.
One of them is Janamot, and one of them is Shurma, and also Fotrika as well. But there are some outlets where we do give it away for free in certain shops, usually a contradill, maybe there's some advertising going on, kind of thing. But that's the way. I mean, the Evening Standard was a
so we've got electronic media. We have 5 electronic media in the UK, Bangladeshi media. Is that affecting the actual newspaper advertisement?
Is it? Of course it is. Yeah.
So how do you survive? Is it just because you just want to keep your dad brand, or?
No, we're not a charity. We're not a profit. We are a profit-making business. If we weren't making a profit, we wouldn't survive. It funds itself. So people advertise. For example, my business, Ariana Banqueting and Ariana Gardens, for sure, we advertise with your channel, we advertise in other Bengali channels. At the same time, we advertise in magazines, we advertise in newspapers. You have to.
So basically, you're saying it's very important, because when I Bangladeshi community, I don't need to advertise my company, like Ariana or any kind of banquet hall, then I'm going to blessing on. But I always say to friends or business people, that's wrong, because if McDonald's does every day advertisement, millions of pounds they spend, maybe they're 20%, 25% of their taking they spend on the media. So why someone like you and me with nothing compared to them? So that's a valid thing. So
it's called branding. I mean, Coca-Cola, Apple, McDonald's, as you mentioned. Apart from the fact that you drink Coca-Cola,
of course,
you eat McDonald's, and you probably have an Apple phone. It's not an accident. They are branding themselves consciously, whether it's the FIFA World Cup or whatever, they're always there. I mean, Ariana is now going to be sponsoring a Bengali football team. Like T-Mobile sponsors certain football teams, and then you've got, Liverpool being sponsored by so-and-so, Man United so-and-so. We are looking for a Asian Bengali football team.
So you want to sponsor a football team. So if anyone watching, if you're the good team, then make sure you come to Fualba. They are actually looking for sponsors. That's actually nice to hear that someone wants to sponsor them. That's good. Fualba, let's go to Asiana magazine. What was the reason you got into Asiana magazine? Like, what was the concept? Like, my Indokitasil, the Eastern Eye newspaper, you got into bridal stuff, like
Eastern Eye top shumoy asil a bridal section. Eastern Eye always had the sports section in the back for you guys. There was a Bollywood section in the middle, all the Hindi films. And there's always the fashion pages, and there was a bridal section. From the phone calls and from the various advertising, it seems the pull was towards the wedding industry. So the next thing we done was a magazine called Asian Wedding Magazine, which was a supplement in Eastern Eye. That took over. That was on a quarterly basis, so it seems that the next thing we had to do was bring out its own magazine. And the newspaper was a weekly
Asian Wedding Magazine. Is this the one stop like you go in there and you can find anything about your wedding? Is that how this magazine works?
Okay. Initially we had a magazine called Asiana and another one called Asiana Wedding. So we've combined the two. So now Asiana Wedding is like a features magazine with stories, with real life weddings and tips on the food and the designers and limos and what to do. And everybody wants to get married, but everybody wants a different wedding from the next person.
That's right, better than someone else. Yeah.
Better than someone else, different, and everyone has a different budget, some high, some low. So the Asiana will give you ideas and it will give you a platform to kind of work on. And that's it really, it's like a vehicle.
So who does Asiana marketing?
We tend to do most of our own marketing. We have our own TV channel called Asiana.tv.
Okay.
So we have our own bridal show called the Asiana Bridal Show, which we do twice a year, one in Birmingham and one in London.
So how does that bridal show we do? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's an exhibition.
How exhibition is this like your own exhibition, or you go and join with someone else? Or
we have a partner, which is Madhu's, the restaurant. They provide catering food, and we did have a couple of radio stations that were with us, but now it's just on our own now. So it's Asiana and it's Madhu's.
So do you do any in London as well?
Yeah.
And how many days do you do, just for a day or?
It's just one day and we attract around 25,000 people.
Gosh, that's quite a lot. And the Asiana magazine, the wedding magazine, do you sell them or it's just?
Asiana magazine.
How does people get that?
Yeah, Asiana, sorry.
I just seen one of these quite heavy, so.
You've just seen a copy of the magazine?
Yes, yeah, so how many copies do you do a year?
Right, Asiana magazine comes out 4 times a year, comes out every season, so summer, autumn, winter and spring. It costs £4.50 in the shops and it's available in all the newsagents and in the fashion shops as well. And we're very proud to say that we're in W.H. Smith's now and Heathrow Airport because we're not a mainstream magazine. No. End of the day, we're still an Asian.
It looks like a mainstream, everything.
Of course, it's very professional, yeah. Of course, that's what we do.
Asiana bridal shows, their magazines, in the Karata magazine.
No, it's not a magazine.
It's a bridal show. That's
it's an exhibition.
So you do 4 times a year. So do you get a lot of Bengali people come to this bridal show?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So what do you get from that? Can you just explain a little bit? Bridal show,
okay. I mean, when you talk about a wedding, there's so many different aspects of it, whether it's the fashion, whether it's the makeup, whether it's the limos or the catering. So our show brings everything together. So there'll be different exhibitors. Someone will be doing the food, some will be the limousine, there'll be some makeup people, Mendi artists, there'll be even the entertainers.
Okay.
Because nowadays you've got photo booths, you've got musicians.
Because nowadays average Bangladeshi wedding costs huge money, you're talking about 30,000 plus.
Yeah.
Could be more, could be lower, but I think the average is about 30 grand. I could be wrong because I got married about 12 years ago. So I'm well behind on that. So how does people afford this? I mean, you don't really see money. Obviously, I'm going to come to the food later on, but people only interested in the bride and groom, the camera. It's like a movie shooting, isn't it?
Of course.
Gariaito, Otaito, just everything proper plan.
Of course.
You didn't see this about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So why people spend so much money?
Okay, I think I would disagree with the fact that you're saying people are spending so much money. It's not so much. I mean, for you, 30,000 may not be so much.
For someone else, could be so much.
Exactly. Yeah. So every wedding should be done according to their budget. So if your budget is only 5,000, it can be done. It can be done. Just have to be realistic with your expectations. It's not a problem. If your budget is 20,000, it can be done. It's not a problem.
So, from the newspaper, you came to this, but why Ariana? Why did you go into a banquet business? Did you realize it's big money to make, or what was that? What was the reason? I mean, it's a very stressful job.
Sure.
Taking responsibility for someone's wedding day. It's one of the biggest day of their life, isn't it?
Of course, yeah. Because we were so heavily involved in the whole wedding industry through the magazine, I'm
Sorry, just interrupt you, but you also been instructor, any? So you left everything and gone into that?
No, I didn't leave everything. I did everything together. I'm the ultimate multitasker.
Okay.
I play badminton, I play football, and I was a driving instructor. I had my own driving school. Okay. It was called Shurma School of Motoring after my newspaper. So we did everything together. I didn't do this and then I did that. Everything was done as and when. I mean, and I've got kids, I've got wife, and you do everything. I've got mum, Okay. So we do everything together. But going back to why we did the wedding venue is because we had the wedding magazine, we want to do something that was actually more tangible, because that's fine to have the magazine that kind of cares for everybody in the industry, but we wanted to be more part of the industry. So we could have done a fashion shop, we could have done a jewelers, we could have bought a couple of limos, we could have done catering, which is a different industry in itself, which we are getting into now. But we thought we'd do the physical building side of the thing, the actual banqueting hall and the Ariana Gardens. It serves two purposes. One, we will actually carry out the weddings, and plus two, we actually do the photo shoots for the magazine in our venues. So half the magazine is actually shot in our premises, on location. So instead of hiring a hotel, or instead of hiring another high-ceilinged premises, we actually do the photo shoots at our venue.
Is it area in a garden or area in a banquet?
Both.
We've got two. So
yeah, we've got two.
I haven't been both of them, but I know one of them.
You've only been married once, next time.
But I have been a lot of time invited in the area in a banquet hall in North London once.
Okay.
Fan Barnett, is it? Am I correct? Fan Barnett?
Fan Barnett, yeah.
Fan Barnett,
yeah.
So basically, I have been invited a lot of time, but I just couldn't make it. Is this got a high ceiling, or is it one of those gallery types? Or
no, it's actually got a 10 meter
10 meters
high ceiling,
Okay.
And it's got gardens as well.
Okay. And where does that Ariana come from? What does that mean?
The name, where the Ariana name came from. Well, when we first found the premises, we were thinking of what to call the premises. We looked around other venues, they had really lovely, high-class, majestic kind of names. And then I was asking my children, and my youngest daughter said, Abba, you just call it after me, Abba.
Is that her name, Ariana?
And I said, Ariana, that's brilliant. You know what, I'm going to call it Ariana. And my other daughters, there was a very Cinderella scenario there. It's a bit like, Cinderella, quite literally like Cinderella. They looked at each other. Abba, you're not going to call it Ariana. Why don't you call it Neelam? Why don't you call it Jareen? Even my son got in the air. He goes, Banana, call it Adam. I said, no. And she was the youngest. So I said, no, I'm going to call it Ariana. And that was it. It just started.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, and that's it. So Ariana is my youngest daughter.
So at the moment, the sister was asking the questions.
Yeah.
Is there any other banquet hall you want to open, or is this two is enough for you?
First of all, sister, thanks for the question. Actually, I've got to let you into a little secret. Ariana Banqueting Hall is our first one. Ariana Gardens our second. We actually own two more venues. One is in Oldham, which is called Eastern Pavilion.
Eastern Pavilion.
Yep, that's in Oldham for the Oldham Bengali community, if you like, and the Oldham Asian community. And we have another one in Bradford called Punchy. So we actually have 4 wedding venues.
So who looks after in Bradford one?
Right, the Bradford one, I have got Sasatobais, as we love to call them, and the Oldham one, we have Sasatobais as well.
So how big is the Bradford one? Let's talk about Bradford. Go a little bit north, yeah?
Sure.
Because London, any kind of capital, you always spend huge money.
Sure.
When it goes to a little bit away from the central London, it becomes a different. The lifestyle, everything becomes different. So how does the Bradford and London compare? Bradford and Managula, BOI, are they the same? I'm not disrespecting any area, but usually like a capital always
Sure.
And everything's expensive.
Okay.
So if I was to go and get, someone was to go and get married in Bradford, are they going to get cheaper, or is it going to be the same?
It's again, there's no such thing as cheaper or more expensive. London ঠিক আছে মানুষের শখ মনে করে বেশি হতে পারে because situation আছে বেশি, for you to choose this and that. Bradford কম নাই, Oldham কম নাই, সবর চাহিদা আছে. The Bradford কন্যা is just as demanding as the Oldham কন্যা, who's just as demanding as the London one. Okay. So you can't ever say to a town that this town is less or this town is more. আমরা দেখছি Bradford weddings দেখছি 80-90,000 খরচ করছে, Oldham দেখছি 80-90,000 মানুষ খরচ করছে.
Bangladeshi wedding.
Bangladeshi wedding joy. Bangali for both professionals, they've done it. At the same time, আমি দেখছি তারা 12,000-13,000 তারা আইছে, আমরা গেছি আমরা বাজেট মাত্র 10,000 কিতা করতাম. আমরা খুঁজছি কোনো অসুবিধা নাই, আমরা করিয়া দেব আপনারে. And we have done. কোনো ব্যাপার নাই.
But when someone comes to the wedding, how do you judge the manchi অত খরচ করবে? জাজ করতে পারেন না, মাত্র লগে যে সময় আপনারা বিজনেস শুরু করেন কথা ওই সময় বোঝা যায় না এন গেছে পয়সা আসলে খরচ করবা না.
Nah.
How does this work? How do you approach? When the customer comes to your shop, we can tell. Obviously you can't tell 100%, but at least if you're a businessman, you know that person's actually not wasting my time.
Yeah.
So how does?
Okay, আমরা কিন্তু খুব বেশি focused on the actual couple. Okay,
rather than mom and dad, so family.
Yeah. তখন কন্যা যদি একটা জিনিস চায়, if she, we want to know what she wants. We want to know what her budget is. And I think the trick is to be realistic. The couple, if they're very realistic about what they want, and they tell us that we want X, Y, Z, we'll give them a realistic answer. We'll say, yeah, we can do everything that you want, and it will cost you around this much. It could be whatever, 15,000, 20,000. And they might turn around and say, yeah, we can manage that. Or they might say, well, it's a little bit above our budget. How can we bring it down to this much? Because at the end of the day, remember, it's their wedding. So if they've only got 5,000 to spend, I will say to them, yeah, I know what. You've got 300 people. Don't come to Ariana Banqueting because it's a bit big. Go to this one. There are other venues out there. There's lovely venues out there. You know, Bengali brothers own it. Just as good, slightly cheaper because maybe it's slightly smaller. And at the same time, we have deals as well where if it's not a school holiday, a little bit off season. Yeah. Also, we have lastminute.com. So if somebody says to me, look, Baya, I don't have a big budget. What can you do for me? I'll say, oh, fine, let me dictate which day I can give you. So, and I will provide them a date. There might be a cancellation. There's lots of ways around it. And the one thing I don't want anyone to do, any couple, is to loan money or to go out their way just to be flash. That's just really wrong. Because at the end of the day, you want a brilliant wedding, but it's one wedding, isn't it? It's one day. Yeah, and you want to save up for the future as well and enjoy it. So
sometimes people overspend it, and that's where the problem comes in. The stress, the worriness, after the wedding, then you got a baby coming on the way. So a lot of things happens, and it becomes difficult to pay. And that's always, I always think of that, and I worry that can they afford to do that? We're going to take a short break. We'll be back after the break. Stay with us. We'll be back after the break, and I will be talking to Tufail about more about weddings. So if not, I have a question, please call us on the studio. We'll be taking your call.